Here we are. Hey yo. How many of y'all remember Johnny Cochran? Johnny Cochran. What's his name? Johnny Carson. Yeah, do y'all remember Johnny Carson? Is it just me that's that old? What's up, y'all? What's going on? What's good in the hood? Am I on? I'm on. I'm on. Where y'all at? Where y'all at? Where y'all at? Where y'all at? What's happening? What's happening? What's happening? What's happening? Happy Tuesday. How we feeling? How we living? How was the weekend? How's the beginning of your week? How we feel? Are we feeling good? Zal's in the building. You remember? See? Thank you, Zal. Thank you. Don't have me out here by myself. Don't have me out here by myself. I called him Johnny Cochran. Johnny Carson. Johnny Carson. Y'all remember Johnny Carson? Hey-o. What's up, Lady Low? High five. Happy Tuesday. Derek's in the building. Andrea Gilbert is in the building. Yes, some of us remember Johnny Carson. And Ed McMahon, is he still living? Y'all remember Ed McMahon? Johnny Carson? Whoa, I'm dating myself. I know I am. But if y'all remember, that means, guess what? Y'all dating yourself too. Lady Low remember Johnny Carson. Why did I say Johnny Cochran? Johnny, what's his name? Johnny Carson? Am I saying it right? Is his name Johnny? Yeah, okay. Lady Low said Johnny Carson. Yeah. Cassie's in the building from Cleveland. All right. Cassie said, y'all tell me where y'all from. She putting it out there. Andrea's from Florida. Put it out there. Kelly's from Atlanta. Well, I'm from Illinois, but been in Atlanta, so I'm considered a peach. I've been here forever and ever and ever and ever and ever. Listen, remember? See, Johnny Carson and Ed McMahon. Hey-o. Y'all know Pat Sajak resigned. Did he quit? And then I'm just thinking about when my grandmama used to watch. What's that show called with Pat Sajak and Vanna? Wheel of Fortune. Original King of Lake. That's right, Zal. That's right. He is the original. What else we used to watch back then? Johnny. That's when television was just chill. Y'all remember Arsenio with the long finger? That's really back in the day. That's back in the day. All right, y'all, we're here. We made another day. We are here. We're thankful. We're grateful. We are here. We get to look at each other. We are here. Lady Low. Carol Burnett. Now, when you talk about comedy, see, you got me to lean over. When you talk about comedy, that lady, her and Lucy, I got all of her. I still got DVDs. She was my hands down. I could tell you every I Love Lucy show. I can tell you it back and forth. Carol Burnett was funny. And who's the lady that played Mama? She had a spinoff. What was her name? Oh, they were so funny. So funny. So funny. I love Carol. And she's still living, I think. Benny, wait a minute, Lady Low. What? I thought you was like the baby of the community. You remember Benny Hill? Oh gosh. Oh, that's a long time ago. Jay's in the building. I love Carol too. Carol's still around, I think, y'all. Wait, Michelle. Wait, Vicki Lawrence. That's it. That's her. But wait a minute. Lady got me stuck. Benny Hill. You're gonna have me looking him up tonight. Oh my God! What I told my sister. We used to sit and watch all of them. See, this is how I know y'all my peeps. This is how I know. What's up, Michelle? What's up, y'all? Listen, y'all, we talking about pitching your value today. Yes, I thought she was still alive. I think I just heard either it was her birthday or something, but yeah, to me, she's the queen of comedy, Carol Burnett. Oh my goodness. Love her. And Lucy, my fave. So we're talking about pitching your value tonight. Oh, that's right. That's right. That's right, dear. Carol Burnett played her in Mama's Family. Yes, 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 yes. Yes, yes, yes. I remember. I remember now. I remember. Okay, I'm going back now. So tonight we're talking about pitching your value. Before we get into that, though, real quick though, for those that are on my email list, real quick, I just want to say, uh, a lot of you all responded to, I sent out to my email list. If you're not on it, you can get on it by going to attractopportunities.com. But I sent a story out. I just want to touch on it briefly. Don't, for my OGs, y'all stop me. Y'all know I start going down a road. Y'all tell me to come back if I get too far out. But I just wanted to say, for some of you responded, I sent to my people on my email list a story about a guy who has worked at this company for 30 years. Some of you may have seen it already, and they took his pension away. And he was fired up. And I mean, he was going off. But here's the thing, y'all, real quick. I'm not going to stay on this, and I'm not trying to take us in a dark place, but real quick. When you see this, and when I sent it to my email list, you know, he was upset, as he should be. And for those that read it, y'all, Jay, don't do that, Jay. See, don't. So he had contributed to this pension fund for 30 years, and they took it away. I think the company in bankruptcy or something like that. I think Derek and some others, where Linton actually was also responded. And I just wanted to share with you all that I'm glad to see, as I already knew y'all would be, that you are as outraged as I am, because it doesn't matter in what type of workplace we work in, whether it's corporate or blue collar, white collar, people are people. And I know he was saying a lot of explicitives, but I think he was in his full right. Imagine contributing to a pension or to anything for 30 years and it's gone. It's just gone. That's insane to me. Imagine he's thinking that, okay, in 7 years, and I can either put my kids through college, my grandkids, or me and my wife are going to do this, or we're going to pay our house. And it's gone, y'all. Anyway, I'm not going to stay on that, but you should look it up, because it will give you, if you, and I know y'all like me, so you just feel him. You just feel his outrage. I just don't, yeah. I just wanted to say I got all of your messages. For some, I wasn't able to respond back, but I got your messages, and I was glad to see that you all were as outraged as I was. So at any rate, we know that we are taking care of ourselves. We're not dependent upon anyone, especially an employer. That's it, Jay. That's it. You're right. You're absolutely 1000% correct. Just human. That's exactly right. Just plain human decency. Just plain human decency. You're exactly right. 1000%. But we know that we have to take care of ourselves. That's what I'm saying. I said the same. I responded to somebody that email, and I said, I just hope he has grounds to sue. I pray he has grounds to sue. But yeah, we're gonna get on track, because I know I will go down that rabbit hole. So we're talking about pitching your value. So let me give you some context. So tonight I have about 10 slides I'm going to share with you, but I want to put some context around pitching your value, because I'm not coming from a standpoint of what to do, right? Not what to do when you're sharing your value with an employer, right? You're sharing your value with a recruiter. You're sharing your value with stakeholders. I'm coming from a standpoint of context around what I'm going to share with you tonight is about options in how to share, right? And for those that are new, I know Michelle and Andrea and others that may or may not have joined us, and welcome. We're here every Tuesday, 8 p.m. Eastern. Great community. We love each other. We inspire, we empower each other, and we're so happy you're here. And listen, this is a community thing, so don't neglect the people right here in the comments. This is where the real the real magic. These are some magnificent people, and this is where the real networking happened. The real magic is right here. So make sure you all introduce yourselves, drop your LinkedIn profile, connect with each other, because we're here for each other. This isn't a one-person show. We're just a community. And if you don't know me, let me say this because I don't say this often. Kelly Jackson. I've been in talent acquisition for 3 decades, started as a recruiter, and I made myself, went up the ranks to talent acquisition leader when they changed the name. And so now this is what I do. That's why we're here. So I'm coming from the context of you having options when it comes to sharing your value. So what I'm going to share tonight is not necessarily tactical ways to share, like what to say in an interview or when you're having when you're in high stake conversations. But I'm going to share with you an option and how, and I'll get into, why and all of that. But I want you to think about this. Oftentimes we think about doing things, right? How do I do this? And 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 I often talk about, I may sound a little different from career coaches or whatever they're calling, themselves out there. And it's because I know that you can get that information. Quite honestly, quite frankly, anything you want is out there on the internet. You can learn anything you want on the internet. It's a ton of information out there. We are in the information age. There's a ton of information. So I'm not, that doesn't get lost with me. I know you can get that information. But what we were never taught to do was think. We weren't taught to think on our own. We were always taught what to do. You raise your hand if you want to ask a question. Raise your hand if you want to go to the bathroom. Get a hall pass if you want to go to the bathroom. Don't ask Jay for help, otherwise you're considered a cheater. So we weren't taught to collaborate. Don't look over there for help because you're a cheater. So we were isolated. So that's why as adults, we've taken that same conditioning, and that's why some of us don't speak up in meetings. Or just like you saw all them people, for those of you that got that email I sent, you see all the men that weren't saying anything? They weren't saying anything. And then there was people in the comments saying, oh, he made himself look bad. Are you kidding me? That's why people commit suicide. When you take everything that they worked for and you keep it on the inside, you know what that's called? That's when you implode. And so what I like to do in our community is make us think about things, because I know that the society, the world that we're in now, from a workplace standpoint, it's about everything between your ears, the 6 inches. It's not the tactical. How long should my resume be? What should I put on here? What about my LinkedIn? What words should I put in here? Now, all of that you do need, don't get me wrong. And I love helping people with that. We have a Q&A session once a month. So I do answer those questions. And I'm not saying that's not needed, but I know that if I can share with you things to make you think, because I know as a society that employers are looking for people that can think, they have critical thinking, they can communicate. Because the industrial age started with us using our bodies, working in plants and distribution centers and warehouses. That's where we came from. But we're in an age now that it's about this. We can think our way to something. And I know that you all are very creative. I know that you are. And if you sit and give yourself time, you can think. You've done it before. You can think your way out of stuff. When you get in that interview, you can think about how to talk to them and convey your message. So my goal here tonight is, when I'm sharing, pitching your value, I want to share with you an option, right? And how to do it, and another vehicle you can use to share your value. Because it is not so much how do we do it, because we've all been taught how to do it, how to hustle, how to work, how to get it, how to move, how to put this on here, put this on here, but we haven't, no one talks about how to think. And so that's the perspective that I'm coming from, especially for those that are new here. I talk about that because I know that that's going to be different than everybody else. And when you're out there and you're selling yourself, you're going to come from a totally different standpoint and a perspective. So it's going to always be who, not how. When your employers are looking for someone to fill a position, they're looking for someone that can solve a problem, that can come with solutions. They're not looking for the how, they're looking for who. Can Lady Low do this for me? Or do I need to go with Andrea? They're looking for the who, not the how. Okay, so let's jump in. I'm going to share my screen and then we'll have a conversation on the other end. We all right? All right, let's see if Kelly can share her screen. Yes. Okay, here we go, y'all. Pitching your value. You have options. This is your secret weapon. Listing your skills on your resume is an absolute must. The applicant tracking system will screen you out. Recruiters won't be able to find you in their search, and not having the right skills can leave you out of luck. Well, this isn't entirely true. As a seasoned mid to late career professional, you actually have a secret weapon. It's called a portfolio career. Now, see here, I put seasoned. So I'm talking to those that have some years in the game. You've been doing this a long time. A long time for me is at least 10 years or more in your industry or in your role. This is specifically speaking to those that are mid to late career professionals. Your secret weapon is called a portfolio career. A portfolio career goes beyond the mere compilation of individual skills you've acquired. By envisioning and presenting your career as a portfolio, you adopt a purposeful approach to showcase your value. This method accentuates the collaborative synergy and strategic insights gained from diverse roles and positions. Each component within your portfolio represents a strength, and when combined, they create a compelling and distinctive portrait of your potential achievements in the future stages of your career. Just like this picture here, all of you with 10 or more years of experience, these different baskets represent the different industries you may have worked in. And inside of each of these baskets is all the things that you did within that industry. So you may have led projects, you may have had some processes that you streamlined, you may have led initiatives or different events. You may have led teams, you may have worked in different areas. And oftentimes I get a lot of professionals that say, I don't know how to put all of this on my resume. I have so many years of experience. I don't want to have 3 and 5 and 7 page resume. How do I articulate everything that I've done throughout my career on a piece of paper? This is where a portfolio career comes in at. It used to be that people would map out their careers in a very linear fashion. Let's take this example. Excuse me. Let's say you wanted to be a doctor. I want to be a doctor when I grow up. I want to be a doctor. You had planned to go to a good school, land a job, maybe at a hospital or within a provider network. And in several years, you decide on having your own private practice. Very linear, right? You go to school, you go through everything it takes to do that. Then you find yourself a job, and then you're in a provider network, and then you decide to have a private practice. That's very linear, right? Like climbing the ladder. But things don't always turn out as planned. Maybe you make it to residency, but you don't pass the licensing stage or whatever it's called. I'm not a doctor, so you can tell me if I'm wrong here. Or you join someone else's private practice and you get laid off after a year or two because the doctor is retiring. You might even become a doctor only to discover after a few years that it's not your passion. What then? That's where non-linear career paths come into play. And so for some of us, we went to school, right? And we went to school for what we wanted to be. And then we got a job. And then maybe we moved up through the ranks a little bit. And maybe something happened and we had to scoot over here. And then we decided, you know what? This ain't even what I like doing. Because listen, over time, our wants and our passions, we evolve as people, as humans. And so how do we articulate everything that we've done? Right? And this is a question. This is one of my top 3 questions. Kelly, how do I put everything that I've done on paper? So this is where the nonlinear career paths come into play. So a nonlinear career path, it distinguishes itself from job hopping. So it's not like going from one job to the next job to the next job. It takes on a more deliberate approach. Job hopping often conveys the notion of moving from one role to another, leading to perceptions of being flaky and unreliable. In contrast, nonlinear career paths are intentionally crafted. Check that word out. It's intentional. Though they may not follow a conventional straight line, they do involve a certain degree of planning and purpose. 2 very key words here is intentionality and purpose. So we think about climbing the ladder, right? And we think about going to the next level. So if I'm a financial analyst, then I'll go to a senior financial analyst, then maybe to a financial analyst, to a financial manager, and then that, and then the next, and then the next, right? That's climbing the ladder. But if you think about articulating and showing yourself different than others, having a compilation, as it's shared in the first couple screens, of different experiences, different background, and best practices that you've learned sets you apart. So as employers and employees face an ever-changing job market, non-linear career paths are becoming the new normal. Here's why. And you all know that have been here for a while, we always talk about living longer. As per the World Health Organization's projections, by 2030, 1 in 6 people will be 60 years or over. And by 2050, that number is expected to double. With increased life expectancy, the conventional 40-year career is gradually becoming obsolete, making way for the emergence of 60-year career. Never heard of a 60-year career. However, for individuals to sustain such a lengthy career, it is imperative to discover gratifying roles to avoid burnout. Imagine doing your role for 60 years. The prospect of staying in the same job for 6 decades may not be appealing to most, considering how needs and interests evolve over time. We just said that. As a result, non-linear career paths that necessitate continual learning and skill enhancement will become more common. So here's why those that are mid to late career are thinking about these non-linear career paths. Here's another reason. Work environments are quickly transforming. Over the next decade, the workplace will undergo dramatic transformations, with companies seeking skills that have yet to emerge today. Moreover, employees are feeling increasingly disengaged and less loyal to their employers. We just talked about that. Research also reveals reduced levels of loyalty as more employees leave their current employer for new opportunities. This shift in loyalty shouldn't come as a surprise, considering the heightened levels of employee burnout and stress experienced in recent times. Layoffs and hiring freezes announced in numerous organizations have further eroded employee loyalty. Consequently, these factors combined have led to a growing number of workers pursuing non-linear career paths. So the concept of lifetime employment at a single job has largely become a thing of the past. Nevertheless, the traditional attitudes towards nonlinear careers are rapidly evolving. Companies are now seeking flexible workers who can adeptly adapt to ever-changing work environments. In this scenario, finding purpose and passion should guide your career choices. Remember, we're talking about options and choices here and sharing your value. By leveraging your transferable skills and stepping outside your comfort zone, you can construct a career that continuously inspires and motivates you for years to come. So, thinking non-linearly instead of the next level or promotion to the next position, thinking about everything you did, thinking about those baskets and everything you've acquired throughout your career history, the way that you can articulate that is through a portfolio career. I'm use myself as an example. As a recruiter working in corporate, I had the corporate experience as an employee. I also, as you all know, I worked as a consultant as a recruiter. And then I did executive coaching. And now I have an agency, right? So if I were to put all of this in a portfolio, it shows the different experiences, different backgrounds, the different things and projects and things that I've done. The same for you. The same is true for you. Think about, we just talked about a financial analyst. Same thing, a financial analyst that works in corporate America, right? And let's say that financial analyst went and started their own business as a freelancer and they did taxes. And then they decided to do some consultancy. How do you put all of that on a resume? And then you're concerned about, is it going to look bad because I stepped out and I did this, and then I came back and there's a gap here? These are the questions that I get. So when you put it in a portfolio, you're sharing your value with employers. And what you're doing is showing your flexibility. You're showing all of the different ways and experiences that you can bring to an organization and how you can add value. Now, here's how to qualify, or here's some things to think about, I should say, as a portfolio-based leader. And let me just share quickly, when you're thinking about a portfolio career, this is typically used at the executive level. So I have two private clients right now. One's a CHRO, one's a CMO. So a chief HR officer and a chief marketing officer. The CHRO is currently going through an interview with a company. I think she's on her third round. Now, she went to dinner, I think on the maybe the second round. They went to dinner. And when she got through, I think it was on Thursday, when she got the next day, she was telling me about the dinner. She said, Kelly, she said, it's interesting. She said, they brought up my M&A experience. She said, on that project inside the portfolio, because we created a portfolio for her. And she said, I would have never had the opportunity. She said, I don't believe, let me say it right. She said, I don't believe I would have had the opportunity to inject that conversation through just the interview process, because what she found out during the dinner was that they just acquired a company out of Denver where they'll be bringing on 300 plus employees. She had M&A, mergers and acquisition experience with a previous employer. And this is one of her experiences we put in this portfolio. But because she's a chief HR officer, the resume and her bio and all of that just speaks to her HR experience. But leveraging a portfolio, this helps to showcase all of your experience and everything that you've been able to do. So you want to ask yourself a question. When you're skill-based, it's more about what you do. The focus is on the task and mechanics and adhering to a type of format, versus portfolio-based, what you deliver. The focus is on the end product, the end result, and you're open to different success formulas. Skill-based is short-term. Responsibility only applies to completing tasks based on an individual skill. Portfolio is long-term. Responsibility applies beyond a single skill to larger projects and longer timeframes. Skill-based is specialist. Skilled or trained in a specific area, little to no responsibility in a larger context, or portfolio based. Generalist, more of a generalist level, more responsibility for larger sets of work. You'll notice as you do climb the ladder and you get to even director or VP level or and even managerial level, it's not a set skill, right? It's not one skill. As you climb the ladder and as you get to executive level and management level, even you find that you have broader responsibilities. You're a people leader as well as executing on various projects. You have all these deliverables versus when you're an individual contributor for some, or if you're a specialist in one specific area, you're doing that one task, you're responsible for that one scope of work, that one set of skills. So this is the difference. And these are questions you can ask yourself about being a portfolio-based leader. Now, the thought of changing your career path, it may seem scary, especially if you're over 40, but it is not uncommon or impossible. In fact, the average American worker has 12 jobs in their lifetime with an average tenure of around 4 years with a single employer. Given the current hectic environment, flexibility, fulfillment, and work-life balance are taking center stage. That means more people are thinking about pivoting professionally. The good news, the majority of older career changers are successful. Based on a study from the American Institute for Economic Research, changing your career path doesn't have to be as overwhelming or difficult as you might think. And finally, perhaps in the past, you might have perceived your diverse background as a handicap, feeling hesitant or even embarrassed to explain it. However, I hope you now recognize that it is a strength, something to embrace and take pride in. What you think? What you think? Any thoughts? Let me see what y'all saying. What you saying? What you saying? What you saying? How do we think? Derek Ball say, yes, nowadays a jack of all trades is a plus. When before it was seen as a negative. That's one of the reasons I wanted to share it, because I also get questions around how do I put all of this in a resume? Or I've also heard people say, my daughter said this, I have to change each resume for each job, right? And so having a portfolio, and I said executive level because that's what I use it basically for when I do use it. But I think now, and this is the goal here, is to always make sure that you all are ahead of the curve. It's an opportunity for you to create this on your own, and you can take your time with it and think about how to position it in a portfolio so someone can see all of your skills and all of your experience and all of your background and all of your best practices, right? Jay said, I pivoted many times in the legacy media industry. Then I pivoted to the call center. That's a perfect example. Perfect example. And here's the thing. Even myself, I don't even talk about agency when I worked in an agency because I'm just not a fan of staffing agency. I never liked them because it was cutthroat back in my day. I'm sure they're better now, but it was very cutthroat because it was commission based and all of that. But I did have a stint there. And that could go inside of a portfolio. Oh, she has experience doing that. And she's also done this, but you can't put that on a resume. It'll be 7 pages long. And y'all, just like me, we have a breadth of knowledge, not just the depth, but a breadth of knowledge. So imagine like that picture showed, it's just and I do this because like Vanna White, it's just a portfolio that you open up and you see that, Linson has done, he's worked in this industry, in that industry, and he led a project, a mergers and acquisition project, and he did this and he did this. And so being flexible and having the ability to be adept and agile, right? And if a company were to look at and open up your portfolio, just imagine the conversation, because that's what I think an interview is. It should be a conversation. And what's going to happen is going to differentiate you from anybody else that's applying to that role because they're going to share a resume. as you will as well, but you're also going to have a link to your portfolio where they can say, oh wow, I didn't know Zal did all of this also. Oh, and she led this and he led this, right? Angela said, very helpful. Awesome. Awesome. Zal said, that's because the proverbial they tried to make being a specialist was better than being was once what was once considered a Renaissance man or woman. You're right. And I'm guilty. I'm guilty. I'm guilty of that. I'm guilty of that. But as I evolve, just like you know, we are evolving together. I found that it's helped a lot of my clients. It's helped, and I would typically only use a portfolio for like UI UX designer. I had someone that we did their portfolio. I had a lady who had she was a creative director in marketing, and we created portfolio. So my mind was thinking that, but when I'm working with these, one's a gentleman and the CHRO is a woman. I'm like, we have to share this. We have to share this. This is a big organization as well. Kelly, do you suggest resume and portfolio be submitted in tandem or is it with one another? And see what you could do, you can put a link. Just put a link on your resume. It's just like, you know, your LinkedIn profile. You put a link and see, that's gonna set you apart, Jackie. That's gonna set you all, that's gonna set you, because nobody's gonna think to do that. Nobody's going to think to do that, and share your different projects. And what I did with the CHRO, we had the mergers and acquisition that she did. We put graphics on there, and it's just a presentation. And here's another thing. Although there are, I see the workforce shifting. Remember, we were talking about how many jobs there were out there, and there was 2 for everyone. There's still a lot of jobs. But the jobs are not the jobs that all of us would be looking for. You know what I'm saying? And so for our type of jobs that we would be looking for, it's going to get tighter and tighter and tighter, especially as we continue on into 2024, because the companies are going to be looking for that special person that can do a combination of things. Because one is the gentleman we were talking about earlier, the whole these companies are getting leaner and leaner, I'll say it that way. And so they'll be bringing people on that are flexible, that still have a skill set, right? But if you can show that I can do a combination of this, and here's what I've done, and here's my success, here's how I drive outcomes, here's my track record of success, that's going to put you ahead of the game. And this is for you currently working right now. Even if you're going for a promotion or you see another role inside of your company, nobody's going to have a portfolio. Nobody's going to have that. And let me tell you another thing. I just thought about this, and this is a side note. This is what else I see happening. In July of 2022, LinkedIn created, now as recruiters on the back end, and I may have shared this, I don't know if I did or not. Now we can find internal employees. So if I worked at Coca-Cola and I had a project manager role open on LinkedIn, if I click on just internal people inside of Coca-Cola, and I'm a recruiter that works at Coca-Cola, but I'm looking for somebody inside of Coca-Cola to fill this role because they want to keep it in-house, they don't want to bring on anyone else in, they can now search you. So your recruiters at your company now are looking at your profiles. They just did this July of 2022. And write this down. This is new. This just happened. Glassdoor has created something called, and somebody can Google this, company bowls, BOWL. And what this does, and you guys use this allows you to, I think people are on there anonymously, if I'm not mistaken. And you guys, somebody can Google this and back me up here. It tells you about the company. So I was reading through some of the comments, and one lady was like, I'm going to go for this promotion. What should I, whatever. Or the employees here at this company are, they don't like the culture. So if you guys log in, I think Glassdoor makes you create a register and all that, and then leave a comment or whatever. But they just created this, and you can read about it. But what's happening is the opening and the exposure of companies are now just being out. It's just out there now. And so one of the things that you want to do is have a digital presence, you all. And if you're concerned about sharing your private life, or you feel like you're private, or you're an introvert, because these are things that I hear, right, from people that they don't want to do it. You have to have a digital presence. So create a LinkedIn profile. It's free. At least have it out there for them to find you and be findable, so that you can showcase your talent. And these are things that you should be proud of, and your achievements that you've acquired throughout the years, right? This is becoming more and more critical for you as professionals to have. And I'm not saying that some of you may not be interested in leadership role. This isn't just for leadership roles, especially if you've been out there. Lady Lowe's talking about Benny Hill. I mean, we've been around for a long time, so we got a lot of experiences, things we've forgotten about. And imagine just having a portfolio where you're putting everything there to display for people to go through and be like, oh, wow, she has a great career, right? Insightful. Good. I'm glad. So they shortened the actual jack of all trades, saying, go back 29 years in the world of work. Ageism hits with linear resumes. True. And yes, I am she. Okay. You heard me. It's all smart. It's all like, Kelly, you can't get that. Right. I'm glad you heard. You caught that. What about portfolios and assessments? What do you mean? What about doing them together or taking assessments? Some companies still do assessments. I know some do. But I do think that I think you should consider a portfolio. It is something you can. Here's a way to think about it. Think about, like, for photographers, you know how they show, like, if you got married, or you want to take some pictures with your spouse, and they want to show you their work, and they're showing a portfolio. Think from that perspective, and just kind of going through your work. And now you can create through AI. You can create a website in 5 minutes. You just tell it what you want to put on, and that way you can create a shell. Just say, I'm an art director. Okay. And my career's been, I don't know, 25 years. And it'll give you a shell, and where you can start and begin. And just put a link on your resume. Put a link. Now, if you want assistance, we can definitely help you with that, if that's something you want assistance with doing. This is something I help these two people with, but I'm starting to think about it for my other clients as well. Because I do think it will set you apart. I definitely think it will set you apart. Taking your own assessments to highlight your thought process and potential leadership skills, and then submitting it within. Oh, I like it. You mean like Myers-Briggs and all of those? I like it. Some companies would definitely find that as value, because that's the reason why we're doing all this. Right? That's the reason why we're doing all this, to share our value. Pitching our value is not from a perspective of what should I do? Because here's the thing, like I shared with you, I was going to say her name, the lady that I'm working with, when they brought it to her and said, hey, I saw that you at so-and-so company, you did some M&A work. She was able, because she can speak because she did it. But that was unique to her. And for Jackie, and for Linson, and for Jay, and Zal, and Angela, like, for all of y'all on here, right? Your experience is unique to you. So the first thing that's going to be eye-catching, the first thing that's going to be of value when sharing your value and pitching your value, is the fact that you even have a link on your resume anyway. That's the first thing. The second thing is all of your experience kind of laid out in a nice fashion for people to go through and say, oh, wow, they've had experience. This is where we're headed. Right? Do you still buy coaching series? I think you said series. I do. I still do. One of the things that I've done is revamp the program so that we can get results faster because I know we're moving faster. And so in about 45 days or less, we update your resume, your LinkedIn profile, as well as your cover letter. We also get you connected to recruiters and hiring managers. We also find if there is a demand for the role that you want to pursue. We do something called mapping out your market. So we find and ensure that there's not just demand right now, but we're looking for demand in the future because we don't want you doing this circle thing, just circling back every few years, right? And then we get you 2 to 3 interviews in about 45 days or less. And so service, yes, no problem. No problem. So if you're interested in that, definitely you can send me a message or you can go to attractopportunities.com, schedule some time and we can have a conversation. But yeah, I wanted to share this with you. I thought about it after I talked to her last week. And, it's something to consider, right? And when it comes to even in an interview, for those that are thinking, well, I'm not sure about a portfolio right now where I'm at, or I'm not sure if that's something I want to do. When you're even speaking about your value, if you put it down so that you know how to share. And the thing with this lady, she didn't know about the M&A. So we would have prepped for that, but she didn't know about it. But when they brought it to her, it was only because it was in front of them, right? But one of the things that you can do and I was thinking about this as a topic, and we might do this next week. Oh, let me say this. Next week, we're on Wednesday instead of Tuesday. Your girl got a birthday on Tuesday, and I've decided to take up an offer that I can't refuse. So we'll do it next Wednesday. But diving into researching companies and how to find good companies. And one of the things you can do is look at a company and then speak to some of the things and news and things that they have coming up, events and or reasons why they've been in the news, and think about how it aligns with some of the work that you've done in the past or currently. And so in sharing your value and pitching your value, you don't want to sound like anybody else. And I wanted you to think about um, everyone's going to be submitting. And again, this is even if you're currently working and you're applying on the intranet for an internal role or for an external role, you're not going to be the only one applying to that role. So how do you set yourselves apart? A portfolio is one way. The other way, of course, is updating your resume and everything. But when you get inside of an interview, if you go in there with the knowledge of what are the initiatives of the company right now, what are they forecasting for the future, and be able to speak to that and how you can contribute to that, and maybe having examples ready. I always tell my clients to have three stories ready in your pocket to speak to and to speak about. And so it's not so much of a tactic when it comes to sharing your value. It's about having a story and having it be congruent to what's happening in that company and that moment and in the future. And so if you can do your research, and I know, people don't like to do that, but this is how you set yourself apart, because everybody else, they're going to talk about their experience. And most people are going to talk about their career history. And you notice I'm pointing to the back because it's everything that they've done back here. Whereas you are a forward thinker, you're future forward. You're thinking about, well, I know that you all are thinking about bringing machine learning into your R&D and all of this. One of the things I did when I was at Google in our R&D department, we did da 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 da, and we created da 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 da. And so this might be a value add to what you're doing, right? So you walk away with being memorable. You've already given them some value during the interview, right? And so these are some of the things that set you apart. And what I was saying earlier about being that thinker versus that doer, because everybody else is going to come in talking about what they've done and the history and all the things like that. But you're thinking about the future and you're thinking about adding value immediately. That makes sense, y'all? Makes sense? Was this helpful? Hopefully so. Hopefully so. Good stuff. Good stuff. Good stuff. All right, y'all remember next week we're on Wednesday. I'll send an email for those on the email list, and I'll also I'll send a reminder. Reginald, Stacy, where you been at? Where you been at? Does a portfolio work for? Yeah, yes, ma'am. Yeah, you can do it for any industry, any industry, any industry. Makes sense in dollars. Look at Jay. Jay with the bars. Jay got the bars. Jay got the bars. Yeah, something different, you all. Like, I want y'all to be different. Different. That's what's gonna get you noticed. That's what's gonna make you memorable. Even where you're working right now. Don't think that if you don't want to transition. I know we talk about employers and bad, bad, bad. Some are good. Some are good and you don't want to leave, right? But how do you elevate? You don't want to stay stagnant. You don't want to be challenged. You don't want to not grow. That's what life is about. Even when they put cement over a piece of land, you see grass sticking up, right? It's growing. It's regardless. You can't stop me, right? That you see grass peeking up sometimes through the cement, right? It's like you can't stop me. Everybody should be growing. That's life. That's living. Don't sit there and just do routine and repetitive because bills and I'm scared to move because my 401k and my benefit. You could probably find cheaper benefits outside. And you do know your 401k, they in cahoots. You do know that. Have you ever looked at the fine print? Have you ever looked at the fees? You really think they're going to do something without getting money? No. Look at the fees. You'll be surprised. They don't tell you about the fees. There's a ton of them that you probably don't even know about. Take your career in your hands. Create the life that you want. It's doable. You just pick a hard, because some people say it's hard, I don't want to, and they're comfortable. That's cool. It's either going to be hard when you don't have enough money, but you're comfortable, or it's going to be hard trying to do it the way you want and create the life you want. You just pick a hard. I tell my daughter this all the time. I'm like, you got to pick a hard. Life is hard. Just pick one. You could be hard and be comfortable, or it could be hard and you create the life you want. Just pick one. Just pick one. Very helpful. Glad. Absolutely helpful. I may have to schedule a full hour with you, Kelly, just to work on tonight's subject. Hey. I'm glad it's helpful, y'all. I always want you to think. I always want you to, because you're unique. That's why we got a fingerprint different than anybody else's, because we're unique individuals. And if we go about life and our jobs and what we do and just do what we look like everybody else, but you better than everybody. You know that. You know that. And if you feel that, it's a reason why you feel that, because there's more. We can't just sit back and be, y'all. We can't just sit back. We're not human doers. We're human beings, right? We have to be all we can be. Be all we can be. Not just do and get up and do and do and do and do. Let's think. I need more money. I want to do this kind of work. I need to elevate. I need to be challenged. I need to make an impact. I need to provide generational wealth. I need to provide legacy for my family. My name got to outlive me, like Hershey, like Rockefeller, like Mars, like Sam Walden. My name got to outlive me. How am I going to make this happen? Money is a tool. It ain't supposed to be spent. It's a tool. How can I make this money over here? Get me some extra skills so then I can make some more money. How can I take my skills and compound that thing? Because I know compounding going to get me eventually to where I want to be. How can I do that? I got to think. I got to can't just keep doing and doing and doing and getting up and driving and getting up and turning on teams and making sure my light on. It ain't yellow, it's green. I got to make sure I'm going to the team meeting and just not just going home and having some wine, having a beer, having a water, cooking, and then getting up. I got to make sure I'm growing. They say when the plane go down to put your mask on yourself first. That means take care of you first so you can be there for your family. And we got to leave a legacy. I'm just now learning this, y'all. I always wondered. I used to tell my coach this. I said, I don't need a lot of money. He said, it ain't for you. And I never understood. And I'm like, I don't really need a lot of money. He said, it's not for you. He said, when you get what you need, then you're supposed to use it to make an impact on others. And it just hit me like a ton of bricks. I'm like, oh, there are little girls back in Illinois like me that think that this is the only life that they can live. I have to go back and get them and show them that they can do other things. Oh, there is a school in my hometown where they're training little kids to be entrepreneurs. I would love to donate. Oh, there are women that are coming out of corporate that want to transition and do their own business. I would love to invest in their own business. So the money ain't just for me. Okay, I get it. I didn't get it. I just thought, what I need all of that for? But we got to help ourselves, y'all. We got to help ourselves because, employers and managers and the government, and I don't care what side you on, they ain't helping us. If we just going to work and trading our money for time like a transaction, like going to Walmart or going to Target or going to McDonald's, it's a transaction. I give you this, you give me money. You give me your skill, I give you money. That's a transaction. Are we evolving? Are we growing? Are we just there? We got to grow, y'all. We got to grow. We got to think about that. We got people behind us. There's people that count on us each and every day. And it's a reason why kids on Instagram and TikTok and whatever they own, and they want to be, OnlyFans, and they want to be, only thing I can do is be a sports player. Nothing wrong with that. Only thing I can do is be a rapper. There's nothing wrong with that. Only thing I can do is sell drugs or be this, because that's all they see. That's all they see. We got to show them something different. If you got kids around you, kids of your own or nieces or nephews, they looking at you and they're like, I don't want to do that. They work every day. On Instagram, they balling out. They got what Jay said, the Bugattis and and they got that on. I want that. How do I get that? They see us and it's like, you go to work every day. I don't want to do that. And you're tired. And you ain't got time for me. I don't want that. I want that. We got to step it up. And we can. Sometimes we just get comfortable. And it's okay. I'm guilty. I tell y'all today, I got news last week. My staffing agency was accepted to be in a program with the Rockefeller Foundation. Very proud. It was a company that I started that I started it because I had to, because somebody had asked me to place some positions. And I'm like, okay, I got to do this the right way and legal. I want it, I like to have everything in order. So I was just doing something. And so I've had it. And today was like our first day we had in the cohort, and we had been communicating with the administrator of this I don't know, cohort, I don't know what you call it, but we never had heard from, or I hadn't heard from the founder. And so today she came in and introduced herself, and she said, this is a dream. And she was pointing to all of us. She said, this is a dream. And she said, I started this a year ago, 2 years ago. And she said, I just wanted to be able to help other Black females entrepreneurs. She said, I really, really wanted to do that. And she said, the Rockefeller Foundation has been funding this for 2 years. And she said, I want to share with y'all. She said, don't go through life without being intentional. She said, intentionality is what got me here. She said, I live my life on purpose. She said, too many of us go through life and we just go wherever the wind takes us. And we're not living life on purpose or with intention. And she said, I want you to write down your intention for these next 3 days. And of course, y'all know me, I'm crying. She said some other stuff, but that's one of the things that I remember because I felt her, right? I felt her. You know, some people you can tell, you know, the authenticity of a person. And I believe she meant everything that she said. And on another topic, I'm gonna take you all through the exercise they took us through because I think it was powerful as well. But I gotta get a piece. I forgot I was gonna do it tonight, but I forgot a piece of it. But I want y'all to experience that because it was helpful. But yeah, let's be intentional about the leaders that we all are. We don't need a title to be a leader. You don't need a portfolio, okay? But it's a way to set yourself apart. It's a way to show your value different than other people. Constantly evolving and transitioning to elevate in life. That's our professor. That's our Professor Ball. As a youth ministry, we need to get our youth to church too. Amen. That's very true. Very, very true. Linson said true. Jay said, after surviving a tornado, I refused help because I didn't want a handout. But I blocked my blessings, but I also blocked the blessing from those wanting to help me. Yeah, yeah, Jay. I had to look into the eyes of my kids to change my mindset. It wasn't a handout, it was a hand up because I'm going back on the grind when I can. That happened to 20 episodes. I love that, Jay. I love that. I love that. I love that. I love, 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 love that. I actually had to learn that myself too. I used to be somebody that, because I've been, well, that don't matter, but I used to be someone that I didn't like asking for help. I never asked my parents for help. Never, ever, 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 ever when they were alive. And I never asked anybody for help. I remember at work one day, I think I told y'all this. I was coming from the mailroom and I had this big old box. I don't know. The hand truck wasn't available. I had this box and I was carrying it to my office. The security guard was like, here, let me help you. I was like, I got it. And I walked by and this older woman said, you're just what Jay was saying, you're blocking the blessing of the person. Like when somebody offers you something, like you block their blessing, right? Because people want to help. People actually want to help. And so she made me think about that because I always do it. I'm like, I don't need it. I don't want nobody help. I don't want nobody helping me. But now if somebody, I'm like, yeah, here, hold this too. Take this too. So I remember that because it's not about me. It's actually people like to help. Have you ever, like, if y'all got nieces or nephews or kids, and I'm gonna let y'all go if you need to go, but you know how you feel when somebody say Uncle Jay or Uncle Linson or Uncle Derek or Aunt Elizabeth or Mom or Dad, can you show me how, you know how you good it feel? Can you show me how to do this? And you show them something you already know, and to watch them do it, it just naturally feels good. It naturally feels good to help people. And so I get what you're saying, Jay. And I know that even us, as you know, most of us are hitting the second half of life and we're over 50 or getting close. We have so many life experiences to the point that we become jaded and we become we think about the injustice and the inequities and people scamming us or all the things, and we're not sure who to trust. And I know it's because, and I'm guilty, I'm right there with you, it's because of everything we've been through, right? Everything we some of us put up these walls. And to Jay's point, especially, and I'm gonna talk to the men, like that picture, and I know Derek saw this and Linson saw it as well. But when I sent that email, I thought about those other men who weren't saying anything. And I'm talking about a story I shared with my email list where this guy found out that they took away his pension and he was going off. But the other men that were standing around, I thought about them not saying anything. And you know what happens? And men, I've noticed, suffer in silence. Jay just said it right there. And even I have clients as men, and I have to constantly tell them, please reach out for help. Because I know you have to be strong. And I know that society and all the things have made men think that, don't cry, don't do this, don't do that. But they end up imploding. And some men, I've seen CEO jump from a building with millions of dollars. So money wasn't the issue. And so getting help is okay. It's okay. I talked to this military guy today, and he was sharing, having issues kind of transitioning, not issues, but, just a challenge transitioning what he's done. So yeah, we just want to be able to share our experiences and live life to the best of our ability. And my goal, my mission, my passion is everybody. I want us all to win, y'all. Whatever that means for you, I want that for you. I want that for you. I really, honestly, and truly, authentically, genuinely do. If you're not getting hit by the same stones as them, you're not standing close enough. Ooh, Elizabeth got bars. Elizabeth got bars. All right, y'all. Doug, where you been at? My people, my people, my people. I love y'all lots. I love y'all lots. I think about you often. I pray about you all, each and every one of you. And I make sure that I'm saying, hopefully, things that are beneficial. And that's helpful. I want you to walk away at least learning something you didn't know before. If you did that, my job is done. My job is done. Oh no! Prayers, my friend. Prayers to Doc. Prayers to Doc. Can't stop, won't stop growing. Hey, Lady Lowe's in the building. Doc, we're sending prayers and love yourself, my friend. Love for yourself. Oh, y'all are a blessing too. Y'all are a blessing too. All right, we're on next Wednesday. I'll send y'all a reminder, okay? Have a great week. Make it a great week. Don't let nobody steal your joy. Y'all got this. Y'all got this. I love you guys. Have a great week. Have a great weekend. See you Wednesday. Bye.